I'd like to talk about the Mokugyo, which is this interesting wooden drum that we use during our chanting practice. I had a request to do a quick video about how to hit the Mokugyo, and I think it's useful to do it. I can give some physical tips, of course, but if you could understand how to use this or how we do use it, you could understand the principle behind what we mean when we say that our practice is embodied, or that we practice Zen through the body. This is one of the tools you can use to learn that. And if you can catch that principle with the Mokugyo, you could understand it with the kesu, the bells, with the han, the wooden sounding board, all of the different instruments and other tools which we use around the monastery, for example, in our Zen training. I think a lot of lay people don't get the chance to really deeply practice this, but you can at your Zen center or wherever you attend. You can even buy a small one and you could practice the kind of thing I'm going to talk about now. So let me say first of all about how to physically hit it. We have to pay attention to space and the bodily condition and tension. So for example, if I put this too far away, then it puts tension in my body just to reach for it. So that already is going to be incorrect. Likewise, if it's too close, then it's very difficult to hit. I have to find the place which fits my body. This is a kind of a big one, so I am not going to hold the striker at the end. It's too heavy, actually. It's quite heavy. It's almost, I don't know, a couple pounds. It feels like 2 pounds or something like that. So I can find a balance point, which is natural here. This feels very good to me. And based on that, I can find what the right distance is. Not too far. And also the right angle. That's no good. I have to find the right place. I guess something like that's good. Okay. Now the first thing I want to say about how to actually strike is that you do not strike with your arm. Which is to say, if you're firing the bicep and using the arm or even the shoulder to try and raise this up each time, you'll always be too slow. And also, you can't last. You can't last through choka, for example, our morning chanting, because you get too tired. So this is the practice in how to use the tonden soku, the hara, to strike. I should say I strike with the hara, not with the arm. So if I hold the tension, not tension, but the breath power gently in the tonden or in the hara, and then the striking arm, very relaxed. All the weight is allowed to settle downward. I don't have to raise up this way to strike using the bicep, but I generate a little vibration from the hara. So you shouldn't see so much movement like this, but what you might see, I don't know if you can see my body, the body's moving. So the Mokugyo can teach you that principle. The body moving and generating the little vibration that drives the striker. It doesn't have to come up too high, right? It's a very short distance. Also, this is rubber, so it bounces back by itself. I don't have to lift it too much. But if I generate the vibration from the hara, that's why you could see my whole body moving. If I go faster, the quality is still there, even though the body doesn't move in time with it. There's still this feeling of very, in a subtle way, sort of squeezing the vibration out, which makes the striker move, if that makes sense. You can learn this way of unifying the body and generating power from the hara rather than from the limbs using the Mokugyo. I would say I probably learned it first from martial arts training. And this phenomena of the whole body moving while the limb or the arm or the hand, which is performing the action, stays actually very light. I actually first really noticed, not only from martial arts training, but watching my late teacher Toda Sensei in the kitchen during sesshin, cutting carrots. When he would cut carrots, the sound was different from other people, and it would change your condition just to hear it. So I wanted to see what he was doing, and observing him from behind. He's cutting, and his whole body and his ass were just moving back and forth. And you felt like the whole kitchen, the whole universe was cutting the carrot. So somehow from his, not somehow, actually, the fiber of his body, his whole structure down to his toes was behind each small cut of the carrot. So that's not just a physical usage. It is a physical usage you have to learn. But also what it means is that energetically, with the power gathered at the tanden, that striking of the Mokugyo and the sound vibrates through your whole body. Your body vibrates through the Mokugyo. If I hit that way, especially during Choka, we go for 25 minutes, half hour, right? So I have a good amount of time to really settle into it and get into the striking practice. When I do that, I cannot feel I cannot tell I'm striking the drum or the drum is striking me. You think I'm speaking poetically. I'm not. I'm speaking literally, experientially. I cannot really tell. I cannot at some point tell if the sound is coming from here or coming from simultaneously everywhere. If I'm doing it correctly, okay? I can tell very easily when I'm not in that state. When the sound comes out that way, which means coming out in a unified state of samadhi with the mind and body integrated and also empowered by the energy coming from the way we use the body, the way we extend our concentration into that unified state. When that sound comes out, my feeling is, as I said, I can't really tell where the sound is coming from, but I also can feel it's penetrating, it's echoing to the Butsudan where the statue of Shakyamuni and the Bodhisattvas are. It's echoing to the calligraphy, to the photos of the teachers on the wall, and not just echoing as a sound coming from here to there and bouncing back, but simultaneously permeating somehow. I experience it that way. So I could feel that because this sound is meeting that calligraphy by Rinzai Roshi, for example, somehow there's a connection with him. And because he is another person, of course, with his own web of connections, also connected to them. And somehow the sound is reaching the Butsudan and Shakyamuni is sitting there. And the Bodhisattvas are present there, and the sound of them is coming from here also. The people, the pictures of my students on the Butsudan who are deceased, I could really feel that the sound is affecting them and they're present. I really experienced that. This is not just a poetic talk, but we can have that kind of experience from hitting the Mokugyo. So you can say, just as a convenient shorthand, oh, what's the Mokugyo? I'm hitting a drum. If you do it correctly, it's something quite profound. And from that principle, you could understand, like, as I said, how to use all the other things in the monastery. And what we mean when we say our practice is through the body, experiential knowledge arises from or through the body, embodied training. If you don't have that experience, so you don't know how to use the body in Zen practice that way, you were never taught, or you haven't yet actualized it, then yes, you're just hitting a drum, which is still useful. But there's so much more there. So that's my brief words about the Mokugyo, but again, not just about the Mokugyo. I hope you could catch something from it about how to practice.